short story to y'all that is pretty spooky. And so yeah, I'm just going to be whisper reading that to you guys. And I hope that y'all enjoy. Also, don't forget about our goal to hit 50,000 subscribers. If you do enjoy the video, you know what to do. Yeah, let's get into it. Also, if you guys know what you're dressing up as for Halloween, let me know down in the comments. Okay, so this is called Something's Out There. Get comfortable here. Okay, something is out there. Dark roads lead to dark places. These were the words which went through Jake Harris's mind as he was driving on the lonely country road. He was coming back from a dark place which was not physical. It was in his past, and no matter how fast he was driving, he couldn't get out of it. Guilt was a dangerous feeling. It was eating him for a few years, so he was driving away from the big city. He needed some time on his own. The state of Wisconsin proved to be an excellent choice for him. Jake's late parents had a cabin somewhere north in the woods. He was heading in that direction in order to escape for a few days. Sleepiness crawled over him. He had a hard time concentrating on the road. He was driving for many hours now. Driving was also a thing which he loved. Long roads were his favorite since his wife and son had died. He was often on the road. Oof. Sometimes Jake just got into the car and drove off into nowhere. Jake's had a hard life, okay. The road wasn't lit very well. It was a country road after all, which hadn't been rehabilitated since 1980. Now, in 2005, just replaced 2023, its condition was already decayed by weather and because of the high frequency of truck traffic. Now the trucks tried to avoid this road as much as possible because of its poor condition. Many of the lights weren't working and nobody bothered repairing them. Jake had to pay extra attention to the road and anything on the side. He didn't want to risk hitting a deer or a wild boar. He reached the wooded area. I must be close, he thought, and pressed the gas pedal a little harder. After passing a dangerous curve, Jake spotted one of the light poles. Right behind the light pole there was a sign which stated that there is a gas station about a mile down the road. He glanced at the instrument panel. It showed that there was still some gas in the tank. Glancing back at the sign, he saw that the light wasn't working properly. It kept fading and then brightening again. It was a strange occurrence. Jake couldn't remember seeing anything like this before. His eye caught something near it in the shadows. It looked like there was a person standing there. For a moment, he thought he saw a pair of circular red eyes. Uh-oh. Or were they red lights? He slowed a bit down, but couldn't see more, so he kept on driving. The front lights of his car flickered erratically when he was in line with the sign. They were even out for a few seconds. His radio went crazy, switching channels in a chaotic manner until he got past the sign. After about 30 yards or so, everything went back to normal. This strange event woke him from his lethargic state. Jake thought that his battery might not be working properly. A faulty wiring combined with some interference might explain both of the phenomena. It was weird, however, that they might have happened at the same time. A coincidence like this had a tiny chance of happening. God, I'm tired, he thought, and sped up some more in order to reach the gas station as soon as possible. A few minutes of rest and he'll be on his way. Maybe a cup of coffee would be a good idea. Jake hoped to find a vending machine there. If the strange events won't repeat themselves, then it'll be alright to continue. The tired man, looking around to see if he can spot anything unusual between the trees. He couldn't see anything out of the ordinary. There were only oak and maple trees everywhere he looked. Lush vegetation surrounded the road on both sides. The dark parts made him feel uneasy. He had to slow down and drive with extra care when going through those parts where the lights were out. The gas station appeared in front of him. It was a well-lit place, but not very big. The front of the station were the pumps 1993 BMW at one of the pumps and filled up the tank. Another car was parked at another pump. There were only 4 of them. Jake looked inside and saw a woman and a little girl through the windows. They were looking around as if they didn't know what to buy. He looked around again but couldn't see anything. The lights were bright all around the place, so he wasn't able to discern anything much further away in the dark. What he had seen earlier left an uneasy feeling in him. A shadow with a strange shape, or was it just his imagination? He got out of the car and pulled up the zipper of his leather jacket. It was a little windy around here. Autumn had already arrived, so the weather kept getting colder each day. His legs had a hard time walking. He had spent a considerable time in a seated position, so his joints felt heavy and rusty. Jake wasn't too old. In fact, he was only 44. 44 is not that old, and still as healthy as a man can be at that age. The stubble on his face already turned into a beard. He hadn't shaved for a few days. His sunken cheeks and droopy eyes betrayed tiredness and past heavy encounters with the bottle. He filled up the tank, then went inside the station and bought himself a coffee from the vending machine. He waited for the clerk while listening to the pleasant music, which was playing in the background. It must have been a radio, but he couldn't see where it was. The gas station clerk came to the counter a few seconds later. He was a tall black guy, also a little skinny. The man didn't look tired at all, maybe a little bored. He had thick lips and dark brown eyes, a characteristic of African American people. Jake paid for the gas, but before he could leave, an agitated man rushed inside. He was in his 50s and sported an enormous beer belly. The blue baseball cap on his head was dirty and soaked in sweat. The man's hairy chest was heaving. Jake could see that because of the partially unbuttoned striped shirt the man was wearing. "Hey, something's out there," he said, barely catching his breath. "What?" asked the clerk with a surprised look. "There's a big man," began Willie, huffing and puffing. "There's something I saw out there." "What's out there?" asked Jake with furrowed brows. "I don't know, but it looked like a man." "So what?" the clerk said. "Maybe it was a man." "Yeah, but he was black." "Ah, no shit, I'm black too, man." "No, not like that. He was completely black." "I'm completely black too." "No, not like that. Maybe you saw a hobo, or maybe your ass is high on some grass." Jake and the clerk both laughed. Funny guy, thought Jake, but the genuine distress on the fat man's face was still unsettling him. "You don't understand," shouted the fat man. "It was black as tar. I couldn't see anything else. No details, no nothing except the eyes. They were red, I think. Have you seen it? About a mile from here that way," he said. He pointed with a puffy finger near the road. "I saw it too." "I don't know what the deal you saw, but I ain't seen shit all night, so with all due respect, please talking crazy stuff. You're scaring the lady and her daughter." He pointed towards the woman and the child. They were close by. The woman was nice-looking brunette with long curly hair and a decent physique. She was talking to her daughter, who also had brown hair and an angelic face. The little girl looked about 10 years old. "Look, man, I think that what we've seen was just a trick." "No, it wasn't. I saw it moving, and the lights of my car went out. I barely got here, man. I couldn't see a damn thing." "Come on, man, cut the bullshit. We're just trying to get through the night, so please calm your ass down." Just after the clerk finished the sentence, the lights on the road went out. They all threw concerned looks towards the road. "See what I mean? Are you people satisfied now?" the fat man said, hoping for acknowledgement. "Oh, come on. The damn lights weren't repaired in 100 years. Damn it, then I'm out of here. Whatever the thing was, it's coming," the big man said, turning and headed towards the front door after seeing the lights go out. "Hey," said Jake, "was it beside a big sign?" "Sort of. It was further down the road by a light post, but not far away from the sign. The light wasn't on. It was probably not working. Anyways, I'm not sticking around much." "It crept the frick out of me," the fat guy said and rushed out. "The guy's crazy," said Jake, but deep down he knew the other man was right. "Yeah, man, but haven't you said you've seen it too?" "I don't know what I was saying," Jake said to turn to go. Jake didn't like this. If there's one more person who had seen this strange apparition, then there might have been something there after all. He didn't see it well, so he didn't want to draw to conclusions. It might just be a prank by local kids. He remembered a story from his teens, what he saw eerily similar to that. A long time ago, he had a few friends cut down a piece of cardboard in order to resemble an evil face. They folded it up to look like a cylinder and glued a piece of cardboard Jake smiled at the thought, but he still saw their scared faces. It sure looked like one of those pranks. The woman and the girl just arrived at the counter, and the woman wanted to pay. Jake looked at the woman and her child. They both looked back at him and smiled. He did the same, then headed for the door. Don't even think about it, he thought. You don't deserve it. The little girl's face struck him. She resembled his late son, Clark. The girl had the same cheeks, a very similar nose, and the look in her eyes was just like Clark's. She was smiling with her eyes too. She was beautiful. Her smile brought back some painful memories. These memories dated back 4 years, and Jake hated them as he hated himself. His wife and son were no more because of him. Only death could save him from the guilt he was feeling. He didn't start a new life since their death. He couldn't. The road was his salvation when he wasn't working. Jake was driving because this way he could avoid the damn bottle. He couldn't drink himself to death while being at the wheel. His life mattered to him, but he didn't want to kill anyone else. Sometimes he was fantasizing about saving somebody else at the expense of his own life in order to die at least half in peace. Gotta make sure it's still recording. Seems like we're good. Jake walked out the front door and saw the big guy driving out of the station. He was driving an old pickup truck. Jake was wondering how it was still in one piece and didn't fall apart after 100 years ago. The man wasn't hesitating much. He must have stepped on the gas really hard because he was out of the road in no time. The fat man was speeding away in his decrepit excuse of a car with no working lights, and then he disappeared behind the trees. He didn't get far, however. Jake heard tires screeching and a loud crashing noise. The crashing noise was followed by a harsh metallic one, then an elongated scream. Jake couldn't see anything because of the lush vegetation surrounding the station. But he knew it was bad. He rushed back inside right away. Hey, I think the big guy just had an accident. I'm coming right away, said the clerk, and grabbed a flashlight. He then ran outside right behind Jake. The woman and child remained inside. The woman didn't want her daughter to see anything related to the accident. Jake reached the fat man's car. It looked like the man tried to avoid something on the road. He saw something he saw too late. The car hit an enormous tree and now lay on the side of the road smoking. The two men looked inside the car but couldn't see the driver. They saw right away that the steering wheel was bloody. It was an old car, so it most likely didn't even have an airbag. Even if it had one, it was obviously not working. They noticed the right-hand door wasn't where it should have been. It was ripped out of its hinges and lying about 5 yards away between the trees. The impact didn't look so forceful for the door to be that far away. Even for a wreck of a car like that pickup, it appeared impossible. What the hell happened here? Asked Jake and threw his hands in the air. I don't know, man. No sign of the fat dude. They looked around the car and under it. The men even searched the surroundings, but they found nothing. Jake's guts were twisting and turning. The sight of the red-eyed shape came back to him. If it were only for him to see it, there would have been fine. The really unnerving fact was that the fat guy had also seen something even closer to the station. What if the thing reached the station? Maybe the road lights were turning off were a sign that it was here. It's a mess, man, said the clerk, looking confused. Yeah, but where the hell did he go? Yo, I don't know. Let's not just stand here. I'm gonna call emergency. That's a good idea, because I heard a scream in that door. Something took him. Yeah, man, something big, said the clerk. But I ain't gonna wait around here and see it. Alright, let's get back inside. The men were heading back towards the station, but right before turning the main road onto the driveway, they met the woman and her daughter. Hey, what are you doing? It's not safe here, said Jake, but saw both of them were trembling. Mister, the lights went out. Yeah, continued the woman. We thought it was strange, so we came outside. We didn't feel safe inside. We heard something, said Clara. Yeah, continued our mother. There were sounds himself staring at the woman's hips. He liked how they swayed. Short, tight jeans, which accentuated her curves. A thin jacket made out of some material which resembled leather covered her upper body. A beautiful woman, thought Jake again, then looked away in distaste. The distaste for him. Because he began fantasizing about some woman while people were dying. In the end, he thought primal urges always win. This is getting sussy. It's getting a little suspect in here, y'all. This Jake guy. What time is it? It's about 9 o'clock. So, it looks like we're not going to be able to finish the entire short story because my camera will probably die. And also, it's just a lot longer of a story to read than I thought. I think partially because I'm actually like when I read, you read a lot quicker than you talk, right? So I didn't expect it to take so long. So maybe if this video gets like a certain number of likes, then we'll read the second part of the story. Because it's a long story. I'm gonna keep blazing ahead, you know what I mean? But my camera will probably at some point just turn off of overheat. Let's see, it's about 17. I bet we'll get about another 5 minutes out of this, and then it will probably turn off. But let me know down in the comments if you made it this far. And if you want to see this second part of this. My name is Curtis, by the way, said the clerk without turning. I'm Jenna, said the woman, and this is my daughter, Clara. Not the best circumstances to make friends, huh? Definitely not. I'm Jake. Nice to meet you. I'm gonna check the breaker panel out back, said Curtis. Alright, Curtis. I'm staying here with the ladies. Curtis went around the building and Jake remained with Jenna and Clara. The little girl was hugging her mother. Jenna was keeping her hand protectively over Clara's shoulder. Jake crouched in front of the girl and smiled comfortingly at her. She smiled back. How old are you, Clara? I'm 10, she replied in an uncertain voice. Well, Clara, me and Curtis are gonna go find out what's happening, and then he couldn't finish because there was a loud curse coming from behind the building. MFer. That's what Curtis yelled. Stay here, said Jake. Don't drive away because we don't know what's out there. Jake ran after Curtis and found him frozen with a blank stare on his face. When he turned towards the breaker panel, he saw what frightened the clerk. Blood and brains covered the panel and surrounding wall. The fat guy's body was on the ground near the panel. His face was gone, along with half of his head. Now they understood why there was no light at the station. The thing that took the man from the pickup brought him here and bashed his head into the breaker panel, which got damaged. What the hell? Asked Jake. He couldn't say anything else. This is why we got no electricity. Panel's broken. I'm calling 911. Jake and Curtis ran back to the girls. They could see right away something was wrong. What's wrong? Asked Clara. She drew closer to Jenna. Nothing, said Curtis. But neither Jenna nor Clara believed him. Got him inside, said Jake, calmly as possible. Wait, said Jenna. What happened back there? Let's just go inside, please, said Jake with an increasing frustration. The girls obeyed, and after they entered, they saw Curtis frantically buttoning on his phone. Could somebody please tell me what's wrong? Jake took her by the hand and pulled her away from Clara. They quickly told her about the body. She grasped in fright, but tried to muffle it with her hand. Jake told her that they were trying to call the authorities to solve the problem without Clara knowing much of it. Protecting the little girl was imperative. He didn't want her to be traumatized at such an early age. Damn, said Curtis, my signal's bad. Let me try the landline. He picked up the phone and dialed 911, then waited. Somebody picked it up, then the line went dead. A few more times. It worked again. The line didn't go dead right away, so he could speak to some extent. Then it went dead again. Did it work? I don't know why I talked to an operator, but I'm not sure he could hear me right. Let's hope they at least received where we are. So, said Jenna, what now? We wait, said Jake. For what? We can't even be sure if help is on the way or not. Because the thing that did, Jake began, then he realized it's a mistake and stopped mid-sentence. What thing? Asked Clara with growing distress. Nothing, honey. Could you please help? Oh no. I skipped ahead. Could you please help Curtis find what he's looking for? Yeah, sure, said Clara and went behind the counter where the clerk was searching for flashlights and other useful stuff. also said that his lights went out when he saw something on the roadside. I saw it too when I got close. My lights went downright crazy, like in horror movies, said Curtis. I don't like horror movies, said Clara, trying to interfere with the adults, but she wasn't successful. Something like that, yeah. And that thing, it's not human. Are you listening to yourself, said Jenna, shouting in irritation. Really, horror movies, monsters. You two must have smoked something really. No overeating yet. You two must have smoked something. Come with me, said Jake, extended her hand towards her. Excuse me, she asked, not understanding what the man wanted. Just come with me, he repeated, and tried to sound as reassuring as possible. I'll show you something. I won't hurt you, don't worry. All right, she said to Jake, but ignored his hand. Watch my daughter, she said to Curtis. Yes, ma'am, no problem, he said, continuing his rummaging. Clara helped him. Jake took a flashlight from Curtis and led the way outside. He knew it wasn't a good idea at all, but he also wanted to make sure that Jenna understood the situation they were in. They went to where the breaker panel was, along with the dead man. What the F, said Jake, stopped in his track. What's wrong? There should have been a dead body here, he said, and pointed the light towards the door, then the destroyed panel. Oh my gosh, said Jenna, and her hands jumped to her mouth. The bloodstains were still there. Bits of brains were plastered into the panel. It looked like something bashed the poor man's head against the panel with substantial force. Oh my gosh, what is that? Said Jenna in fright. It looks like a tongue, said Jake, and stared at the second, the fat man's tongue, which lay in a small puddle of blood a few yards from the panel. Jake noticed the bloodstains on the ground continued all the way to the forest. He shone his light on the ground where the body used to be, then traced the blood-red streak until it disappeared into the darkness of trees. That thing dragged the body into the woods, said Jenna, and shivered. Yeah, but why? I don't know. Maybe to eat it. I don't know, but why leave it here first and then take it later? Jake froze after his light beams fell on something he didn't see before. He gasped, and Jenna threw a half-frightened, half-worried look at him. What's that? She asked and went closer to see what made the man stare so dumbfounded at the ground. There, on the decades-old asphalt near the bloody drag marks, a name was painted on the ground. Jake couldn't believe his eyes. The moment he saw the bloody name on the ground, he knew that the night's events are not random. They have to have something to do with him. When he was pondering the implications, Jenna interrupted him. Clark. Who the hell is Clark? He was my... Do I dare continue? Or do we end the video and then do part 2 another time? Do I leave you guys on a cliffhanger? You know what? I'm not like that. I do want to make sure. Oh, is that a temperature warning? Oh. Yeah, I'm getting a temperature warning, guys. So, we'll end the video in this case. But, I hope that you guys have an awesome night, and I will see